again. We had some technical difficulties, but we're back in the building. We are here today with my man D Dub, and we're going to talk about WrestleMania results, grades, all that in between. Uh, First night wasn't the greatest to me. Second night was pretty good. Little let down on the last two matches. My thoughts, but we'll get into all that. Dub, your thoughts?
Same. First night was bland, Second night though, man, I thought they kind of knocked it out the park, really.
Yeah, I think maybe they did it too good that they just the last two matches just didn't live up to the build that was already there for them.
Right,
You know, but
right.
we'll see. We're gonna get into it. What I did, guys, and real quick, we had a great time on the Clapper. We went live over there both nights. Had a good time with everybody. So hopefully we'll get to do it again. What's the next one? Backlash. I know you won't be there because you'll be there live.
Yep.
So that'll be cool, man. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Um, so I wrote down, and we're gonna go through the matches from night one, night two. I kind of put a grade and a letter grade and a star rating. Now I'm no Dave Meltzer, so there will be no seven freaking stars because that's just ridiculous. It only goes to five, but I don't see anybody getting five on this card. It wasn't that great, but and then at the end, I'll give an overall rating of the whole thing. I don't know how you're gonna do yours, but that's how I'm doing mine.
That's the same way with me too.
All right. So, what do you want to start with, Dub, on night one?
We can start with the first match, if you want to. Jay and Gunther, you know.
You want me to start or you want to start?
You can open up with this one.
You know, it was a great entrance. Everybody was hyped for it, but they deleted the crowd and they deleted themselves. They had that adrenaline dump. Maybe he wasn't used to it, but you could see it. He was sitting in the corner trying to get his breath back.
Yeah.
And the match just didn't deliver to me, which I'd already told y'all my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
As much as you get behind Jey Uso and you can be a fan of Jey Uso, his in-ring work is not up to par with some of these guys like a Randy Orton, a John Cena, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, stuff like that. Not that he's not a good work. I mean, he's not a good wrestler. I like him. I mean, he got the fans over, but you got to have more than just.
Yes. Yes, we see your post. All right. Yeah, and we can see your posts and your text down there. So, um, I'm gonna give that match a C. You know what I'm saying? And as far as stars, to me that was a 2-star match, if that. You know what I'm saying? It let me down. It really
It,
did.
and I think it could have been a little better, but like I said, Jay just man, he got too excited for the moment. And I told everybody, it's fine to want Jay in there and to get a push, but like they always say, and then the bell rings.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Anybody can look good and have an entrance and get the crowd into it, but can you keep them into it?
Yeah, and I don't want to say this, you know what I mean? Because like I said, who am I to judge these guys, or who am I to say anything about these guys? You know what I'm saying? But Jay need to hit the gym. You know what I mean? He just doesn't have that look that all the other stars has. You know what I mean? He got that little pudge going on, and if you're gonna be a star in the WWE, you gotta be cut. Right. Yeah. Yeah, he's going to have to do a little more work for sure. I mean, he doesn't need to work on the crowd reaction or none of that. He's got that.
You
He's got
got that.
out the palm of his hand. He just needs to work on his in ring a little bit, and his promos a little bit, and that look. And if he does those three things, we're talking big things for Jey Uso. Yeah, yeah, is it Sam? Yeah, yeah. I can't type, or I would answer your questions there. I don't have a typing thing over here to let me do it. This is a little different than TikTok. Usually you can
Yeah.
answer on there. Uh,
But
we're not
and
ignoring you guys.
I think that might be part of what now they didn't have anything to do with the other matches, so I can't really say that, but it just kind of like great to me.
Yeah,
Night long on
right,
others, and I don't want to, bang hard at home against Jey Uso. I mean, it
right.
wasn't like Gunther was that great either.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Now, as far as like the storytelling, though, the storytelling was pretty good. I will say that. That's the only thing, how he turned everything against Gunther. You know what I mean? Like Gunther was going to do all. Jay switched it and said, "No, I'm going to do that to you." And I thought that was pretty cool. But it could have been a little more intense.
yeah,
Yeah,
and before we get started, I said this too. I think having that long layover until WrestleMania kind of put a damper on it. We didn't have like that 3-4 week real quick, and then boom, we were into WrestleMania. We waited what, a month and a half, month and 3 weeks before WrestleMania, and it just, I don't know, it wasn't a great build. I don't know if that was because it was too long or what it was. I don't know.
and I've been collecting for 5 years. So I don't know if that was your question, but I've been collecting for 5.
Yeah, I've been collecting for a while. I don't know exactly what year because I've bought and sold and then got back in again, but so all right, we'll get off of Jay. We'll
All right.
let him have his piece. Well, we will talk about his little thing. That's another thing. I think he's gonna let his other demons get in the way of being the best he can be. Cause he shouldn't have been like that out there, and they shouldn't have let him go another 5 minutes. Somebody should have said, "No, that's it, bro. Come on."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they should have cut him off for sure. And I agree too. You're wanting to have a good time. You know what I mean, and live it up because you just done this big thing. You know what I'm saying? But don't do it all at once, bro. You got the whole night to do it, man. You know?
And it's easier said than done, man, because you get in the heat of the moment. I know I used to rap and do different stuff, and sometimes, you get a little hammered during the shows and, go a little off script. So, but there was always somebody there to pull me back. You know what I mean?
Oh, and he just said congratulations to Dirty Dom, and that reminded me. I guess Dom ran over a fan later on that night.
What?
Yeah, I guess he was driving the ATV. He pulled a stone cold. And
Oh, man.
yeah, he ran over a fan, man. Yeah. So I
So we'll see. I didn't hear nothing about that. I had to go
yeah
look that up.
yeah they party hard in Vegas, bro. After they win the championship.
All right, so let's get on to the next match, which for me really didn't do too much. I mean, War Raiders versus Bad Day or New Day. Uh, I had Bad Day going over because I didn't really see no reason otherwise to have this match. But they're just flipping the tag team titles too much. You're not giving anybody any ground to stand on by doing that.
Right.
Uh, I'll go ahead and give my prediction. That was a little sloppy. I just gave a C minus and 2 stars, and I'll let you take the rest of this. I'm not gonna spend much time on it.
Yeah, I agree there too. The same way, why build these guys up to let them down? You know what I mean? And and where and why did we not get a DIY or Motor City Machine Guns or any of those guys? You built those guys up over there, and then we didn't get them at Mania. We
Yeah,
should got a match at Mania with those guys too. This is Mania. This is when you put all the marbles on the table. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. And they didn't have all the marbles on. You can't bring a half bag of marbles. You know what I mean? Up on the table and expect to play the game.
yeah. And Sands, I don't think you heard us, but we did answer your. Dub said he back right about when the Toy Biz took over the Marvel Legends. Then I stopped again. So
Yeah,
probably about 15, 16 years, something like that.
5 years for me.
So, uh, so yeah, I don't know, man. They gotta work better on the tag team division.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what you. I mean, you need to find somebody you want the titles on and have it at least for 2 or 3 months. I mean, how many times has it switched in the last 3 months?
Let's see. We Finn, Dom, or Judgment Day had them. War Raiders. Now New
Didn't
Day.
the Profits have them?
I don't think.
Motor City Machine Guns?
I don't think not the Raw championships.
Oh, okay, okay. Then
Um,
there's too many damn championships. I can't
Truth,
keep up with all
Truth
this stuff.
Truth and Miz had them. Um, and I know I'm leaving one more out. I know I am right before that. Probably a couple more, but yeah. Yeah, it's same thing. You know what I mean? Like they're doing over AEW with the championship there. You know what I mean? You're passing it around too much.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
except for the one that Moxley has
Yeah, put
that
some
we can't get off of him for some reason.
yeah, you gotta put some prestige on that. You know what I'm saying? These are
Yeah,
championships. You got a
you
championship for a reason, man. You know what I
you
mean?
got
Not
to make
because
them worth something. There's too
right,
many. They're too diluted, and I'm not saying have nobody go on a Bruno San Martino run or anything like that,
right.
but a good 3, 6, even a year build for somebody, with the titles. But you
Yeah.
know, anyway, C minus and 2 stars for me. I didn't know if I heard your rating or not, but
Yeah, that's same with me too. Yeah.
now it did pick up a little bit for me here, just because I was intrigued to see what Jade Cargill brings to the table. Uh, I know she's not new, but she's still green because she was in AEW and nobody really taught her much of nothing. Um, which she still got a long way to go. There was some things in there where she would just sit there like this and kind of be looking up and waiting. You gotta make that not look so obvious. Do need to
Right.
work on that.
Yeah.
But she has the look. She looks like a star. She can be a star if she wants to be, if she's willing to put in the work. What's up, Running Lights? Welcome in. And before I jump off, Naomi did good too. I think the match was good. I gave it a B minus, 2.5 stars. And before I turn it over to you, I just want to say, since Running Lights is in here, the man went undefeated at WrestleMania in picks. So shout out to him. No, you did not win the Dragonfly, but you did get my props. So congratulations on not losing a prediction in WrestleMania.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Doug.
Dominic Mysterio, he won by doing a frog splash on top of Finn Balor, and that's how he got it. But yeah, same with me too. There, kind of beef. I'm gonna say that was probably one of the better of the matches of night that night. You know what I'm saying? Could have been better. Yeah, it could have been a little better. But I'm gonna give it a B minus. And I'm gonna say, 2.5 stars too, because I really don't want to give it that third star because
Yeah, I mean, if she wouldn't have been doing all that looking around and waiting, I probably would have gave it 3 stars. But
yeah, too.
you know,
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I
That
enjoyed it.
now, this next one is where it picked up for me. Jacob Fatu and LA Knight.
Yes, sir.
Fatu is a star. LA Knight, we can see, can be a star if they want to push him there. But Jacob Fatu is one of the good. Jacob Fatu, Braun Breaker, and Logan Paul. these three guys should be stars from here on out. I don't know what they lost on Austin Theory and what happened to him, but
Yeah.
these three guys need to shoot to the moon and strap a rocket on their back and see how far they can go.
Yeah. We ain't did Tiffany and Charlotte yet, but we'll tell you right here in a little bit. We're getting there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going down all
Jacob,
matches, boss.
Jacob Fatu, man, he's got a definite fire under him, and that's what I'm saying. When these guys come up on the indies like they do versus developmental, you know, the indies is just a little bit better, I think, in my opinion, because you're getting to develop your own character, you're getting to develop everything that you learn, you know what I'm saying, outside of a big promotion. So you got that walking in and you're getting that ring work. You know what I mean? You get to hone that craft a little bit.
See, it kind of hurts them because half of the time they're working with somebody who doesn't know what
Yeah,
they're doing
yeah,
either. So they're learning bad already. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But you got to start somewhere to get noticed. Now you may not with all these classes and schools and stuff they bringing in and bringing people straight out of high school and college and training them and stuff. So
yeah.
we'll see. The power plant didn't work, but we'll see if the rest of this does.
And that's how you got hired in the business back in the day. You had to have somebody like a Bruno San Martina or your whoever trained you, like Killer Kowalski or something like that. You had to have these guys get in somebody's ear and say, "Hey, you need to look out for this guy." You know,
Yeah, give this guy a shot. Yeah,
Fournette, people like that. You know what I mean? Trustworthy, reputable people. You know.
exactly. So I gave it an A. I gave it 4 stars.
Yeah, yeah, I liked it too. Do I like L.A. Knight? You know what I'm saying? No, you know what I mean. I don't really care for him, but you know what I mean. It was a good match, and they put on a great show. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I give that one a 4 star one too.
I like both of them, and I think with LA Knight, I mean, they didn't drop the ball as much as they did with Austin Theory, but I
Yeah,
think they could have pushed this guy more than what they did.
yeah,
They kind of start him, stop him, pull him back, whatever. But I think he's kind of like I said with Jay and some of the other ones. Maybe he don't have a world title run, but he could always still be in that picture. You know what I mean? So if you
absolutely.
have like an elimination chamber and you need a sixth guy, you can throw LA Knight in there. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, that comment there blew me away, man. Got me off guard. Curtis Axel. Wow. Uh,
He said triple fraud.
that's a good. That's pretty
Oh, that's
good.
good.
Yeah. But yeah,
We'll get to that in
great,
a little bit. To me,
great.
the best finisher was Dominic jumping on Balor and them. That was the best. We'll get to that. We're going straight down the list. So,
I
what did you
gave it
give it on that one?
4 stars and
Okay,
B plus for sure.
B plus. Okay,
Well, I just yeah, I mean, it's not nothing
right,
personal
huh?
or anything like that. I just wish he would come up with something new. You know what I mean? Instead of and I get it. You know, robbing from Peter to pay Paul. You know what I'm saying? But you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Come up with your own shit.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's so hard to now, though.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It is.
I mean, everything's pretty much been done.
Yeah.
I mean, but you could always tweak it and stuff like that. Uh, Next one up is Kano versus Ray Phoenix.
Yeah, man. I really thought that Ray was going to go over. I did get that one wrong. Um, it was a good show. Like I said, Chad Gable's getting a lot better at this fast paced stuff. You know what I mean with the luchadors. But they're just the gimmick. You know what I mean? Give up the gimmick and come out as you know what I mean, Chad Gable, and do what you do, but be Chad Gable about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Don't
but that's not him. That's them pushing for this dumb gimmick they're doing.
Right. And if they would drop the gimmick part and push him as a real person trying to do what they're doing, it would get over a lot better to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's fake. That's the fake part. You know what I mean? You're getting too fake. You know?
And Mr. Bile, I get you. We will get to that when we get to the match, but our sentiments are pretty much the same as yours. But
Yes.
I think they got the who should have won wrong. I think they should have let Ray Phoenix go over.
Yes. Me too.
Uh, but it was still a decent match. I gave it a B minus and 3 stars. I'm not a big Chad Gable fan. I'm not even the biggest Ray Phoenix fan. But for what they gave me, I was fine with watching it. So I
Yes.
can't say really nothing bad about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
that's same with me. I'm gonna have to say I give them a good B plus. They had my attention. You know what I mean? It was a good fought match, but I'm like you. I think Phoenix should have went over because now it hurts his credibility because he's just starting out in the WWE and he's already took a L. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Uh,
and Kurto, man, I agree with you. Yeah, I wish they wasn't doing it, but they're
yeah,
gonna do what they want. All right. Somebody in the chat was wanting us to talk about Tiffany and Flair, and I
yeah,
told you we'd get to them. We're going down the list. I I think they let the wrong person go over in my eyes. I'm a big Flair fan, but besides that, the reason is even if I wasn't a fan, I still think she should have went over because why do you have her win the Rumble to not win the title? It just seems like you wasted that spot. You could have gave it to somebody else, and it just seems like a wasted spot to me. I mean, their match wasn't great. I don't know if it's because they don't have chemistry or they really don't like each other, but
that
they were missing quite a bit of
yeah.
stuff. Um, I gave it a B minus and still 3 stars, but probably one of the worst Charlotte Flair matches I've seen. And Charlotte Flair usually is close to getting 4 or 5 stars from me. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say on that one, I give that one actually a C. I don't even really want to give it a plus. I'll say C minus. They didn't have my attention, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be this absolute, cat fight. That's what the build was. They built us up for this big cat fight, and we didn't get it. You know what I mean?
yeah. And I knew we weren't. So I guess that's why I don't rank it that low because I knew they weren't going to let them do that.
Yeah, and that's the thing where I say with you got Vince McMahon, you got Triple H. You know what I mean? If this would have been a Vince McMahon situation, he would have probably sat down in the room with those two girls and said, "Hey, look, personal differences aside, you're going to have to work together. You're going to have to figure this out and come up with something to do something." I don't think Triple H. I think he's a good boss, but he's also that friend too.
He doesn't want to be too stern. He's kind of like Tony Khan.
Right, right, and you got to
I
have
mean, I really didn't mean to disrespect Triple H by saying that, but
But yeah, yeah, he's got to get a hold of the reins. You know what I mean? Uh, just
but
they got to know who boss is.
yeah, Mr. Bao, I agree with you. I think Charlotte to me is still on top with Bianca and Rhea right there with her, and you could switch it around. But I think that's the best three in the business, especially in the WWE.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I just expected better. But it is what it is.
and the fans are really, really, really behind Tiffany right now. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a Jey Uso
Yeah,
thing,
well, I was about to say they're really behind Jey Uso too, but does
right?
that mean he's having great matches?
Right, and
You
what
know what I'm saying?
what I think Charlotte's problem was, you just come back from an injury and here they handed you the Royal Rumble stuff and everybody's like, "Oh, she's just handed stuff. She's just handed stuff." But she was injured before, what I mean, she had to relinquish that
I
title.
know.
And
And and I think that's another thing. I think they kind of let the fans predict the outcome of who was going to win that.
right, I
And
think
they
you're right.
wanted to make them happy because they got on Tiffy, and I don't know. But
Yeah.
anyway, on to the triple threat. Seth Franklin, Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman and Who Knows Corner. So, which me and you had already predicted this. I think a lot of other people did too. It wasn't that hard to see this coming. You know, it's like John Cena. We could still see him, even though he thought we
Yeah.
couldn't. But the match, I enjoyed the match. My only thing against the match was
Right.
I think a lot of that might have been because they had already got hands on each other way too many times during the build-up. I don't think they should have fought that many times. When they fight 2 or 3, maybe 4 times before then, come out not really fighting a match, but come out there and jump on the other one.
Right.
I think they should have kept them apart a little more,
Yeah.
and it just I don't know. It could have been 5 stars without the whole Heyman thing, the old little sloppy nut shot and waving the arm around.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know, I'd already said this the other day. They were going to try to. I think this is the last chance for Seth. We put you with Heyman. Now let's see if you can become that star.
yeah. I think you was on to something the other day when you made that video. I watched it, which I watched a lot of the videos to the end anyway. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I watched your video and I was like, he's talking some truth here, and sure enough, with what happened, this is the last chance. And it's to me, I don't think it's like his last chance, but I think it's like, it's do or die moment. You know what I'm saying? Either because they keep putting titles on him. They keep doing all this stuff, and he is a little over. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, he's
That's
over.
just because of the song.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's got that.
Whoa!
Yeah, he's got that fan interaction, and there was a lot of finishes, man. And that's the problem with these finishers. You take a finish like the DDT. It used to be special. It used to be something that was.
Uh-oh. What happened, Dub? Man, I lost my co-host.
No, I'm.
He's like John Cena. We can't see him. Do, 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 do.
It's not letting me.
I don't know. Maybe.
Are you here? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. I just can't see you.
I don't know what's wrong with my camera. Um,
Fade to black.
but yeah, it was a good show. That was one of the best shows of the night, I think, for that night. It kept me really into it, and I knew, like I said, that he was going to turn heel. I knew, and
I'm just laughing because I can't see you, but I can hear
I
you.
know, I know, it's crazy. I don't know how I did that. So,
You didn't pay the bill, Dub?
I don't guess.
No. Goddamn running lights got you. He said lights out. There you are. I see you. Boy, technical difficulties all over the place. Boy, you know we got a high budget over here for this thing. Our
We starting to laugh. Yeah. You start to lag a little bit. Yeah, I think that's what's going on. It's just the storm stuff. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. It's just lagging real bad. Um, I agree. C minus. I agree. That was a yeah. Yep. Yep.
It was good. It was better than I thought it was. Bianca versus Rhea 1-on-1. I thought that's what it should have been. No offense to EO, but she should have been going for a US title or intercontinental title with the result.
I agree. I agree there. That match that started out, man, boy, that had my attention. You know what I'm saying? And they really set the bar for the rest of the night. It wasn't like night one. You know what I mean? After the first match,
Yeah.
boom. It was like one after another, and everybody was just hopping out. It felt like WrestleMania. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't feel like the night before, for sure.
It kept them on their feet.
Yeah, but
So
yeah, I
I
agree.
liked it.
A
What'd
for
you
sure.
what'd you give it?
I give it an A plus actually.
Okay.
Because I think hats off to those three ladies because I thought we was going to have a stale match. Because if you watch all of EO's work before leading up to that, it was lackluster. But she really fell into a groove there into like the WrestleMania that day in that match. You know what I'm
She
saying?
she picked it up. She picked it up. She tried to show that she could run with the big dogs.
Right, and she did a good job. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
she did. She did.
Yeah. Uh,
I technically still don't think she was deserving to be in that spot, but that's
no,
just me.
right.
I,
Uh,
I, I like her work. I think she's good. Don't get me wrong, but it just when you look at the picture, Bianca, Rhea, and then Io, you're like, okay, which one of these does not belong?
yeah, yeah.
You know,
And I think if she would start working a little bit more on her talking skills, not saying nothing bad about the lady, you know what I mean, but she does not have good English skills, you know what I'm saying? If she would work on that a little bit, I think she would definitely be able to get the fans a little more interested. Because you got to be able to speak and talk to people. You know what I'm saying?
and,
Outside the
and that's what hurts the people from different countries and stuff is because they have to work so hard on their in ring work to get over because they don't have the easiness as somebody from here in the U.S. to be able to get on the mic and do that.
right.
Plus, you got these people trying to stereotype them, give them some stupid, you know,
Yeah.
racial gimmick or something. Anyway, so they have
Yeah.
to fight so much harder to get there. So I respect them for what they do.
Yeah.
And they seem to have to work so much harder than anybody else. But
Yeah.
she did great. She did great.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. So
All right, now we're moving on to the street fight. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. you know, I didn't think it was that bad. I think that it was good that the women's match didn't have like tables and ladders and chairs and all that involved in it. So it didn't take away from this, you
Yes.
know. As far as I can remember, except for the little bit with in the four-way, you know, them going outside on the announce tables, there really wasn't that much fall to Raw in the rest of these matches. So I
Mm.
will give Triple H or whoever's putting this together, you know, good for doing that. Because if you watch AEW, you'll see 6 out of 8 matches got tables, ladders, chairs, spikes, tacks, tic tacs, you know, Legos, whatever, you know, Lego. But but I thought it was a decent match. I honestly think that Priest probably should have went over just because I think it wouldn't have hurt McIntyre to lose. But I gave it a B and 3 stars.
Right. And I agree there. I give that one a B plus. And I'll give it 3.5 stars. You know, because them boys left a wake of destruction. You know, there was stuff laying everywhere outside that ring. You
I
know.
mean, it was good. I mean, I've seen better, you know,
Yeah.
not trying to criticize them, but, you know,
Right.
my thing with Priest is I think Priest doesn't believe in himself.
I think you're right. I
I
think
just don't see that he believes that he should be up there. And I think he could be up there. I think he should be a heel for one. And I think that would help him believe in himself more and get over it. He
yeah.
has all the attributes, the size. He's not the greatest speaker, you know, but he can get there. You
Yeah.
know, he has the look. He's got a
Yeah.
star look. I mean, I
I thought
think he needs somebody like a Paul Heyman with him.
we're carrying cross. You know, I think if they
Y'all are bigger on carrying cross than I am, but
right, but I think if they would pair them two together now, where Carrion is in his career and Damien is in his career, you know, they're both good guys. You know what I'm saying? If you pair that together, I think you can make an awesome tag team, man. An awesome tag team.
okay, I could see that. I thought you were gonna try to go with some kind of like faction and stuff, and I'm like,
Uh,
Karrion Cross has already tried to have a faction and it didn't work. But
right. Nothing's working for Carrion so far. You know what I mean? And nothing's working for Damien so far. So why not put them both together and let's see what we
I
get.
wouldn't mind that. That is actually a good idea. I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
that. What's up, Jackson? How you doing, man? So all right, now we're gonna get to me. This was my favorite match on the card, the Fatal 4-Way. And I'm not a big fan of 3 ways and 4 ways, but they actually did really good with these on this card. But this is Braun Breaker, the champion, or was the champion, Penta, Finn Balor, and Dirty Dom. And I called this one too, and I said it was gonna be Dom winning by pinning Finn, and that's what we got. But man, there were some great spots in there. Everybody worked good together. There wasn't a lot of times where people were just Carlito's Carlito been getting messed
Yeah.
up, bro.
Uh, I give that one. I'm going to have to give that one a B plus. It was a great match. Everybody worked together, like you said. There wasn't a lot of those spots. Um, and I called Braun Breaker. If I'm not mistaken, I
Mhm.
think I
Yeah, you did. You
um
did.
I just figured that he would have had a lot longer of a title run with that title, but he has had it a few times, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but I also knew in the back of my mind too that they were setting up for the split for Judgment Day too. So you know, I also had that in the back of my mind too. But yeah, man, it was a great match. Great storytelling there. Um, you know, uh, I think we're going to see Braun go for some little heavier gold now.
Okay. I mean, I'd be fine with that. Real quick, thank you, Jackson. That means a lot. And so I don't think he'll ever be pushed back to the Intercontinental, but I just don't see Finn as a world champion, guys. Just doesn't fit the mold for me. But if you like him, hey, I don't discourage. I actually gave it higher than you. I gave it an A, and I gave it 4.5 stars.
Okay.
I was really impressed in that match, and I'm not the biggest Penta and Finn Balor fan, but I think they all did great. So I got to give it up to them, man.
Yeah.
Best match on the whole freaking show to me, both nights.
Yeah. If I had to choose a best match for both nights, I have to give it to the girls. You know what I mean? That's where I'd have to give it to is
I
the
mean, that would probably be my second or third, depending on where I put the 3-way with Punk, Roman, and Seth.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah. All right, we're running this thing down. We're gonna try to get finished up. Randy Orton against surprise guest. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Why? Why do they?
I believe in Joe Hendry.
You know, they bury these guys like that. I understand you bringing in talent. You know what I mean? But why bring in talent like that just to bury them? You know?
I don't really mind it there because I think the guy is happy to be where he's at.
Right.
Never thought that he would get over like that, and he got a WrestleMania moment. He got to be in the Royal Rumble. Now, I do think in the Royal Rumble they should have gave him a spot with John Cena, and then he would have pretty much marked off everything on his bucket list. We all know Joe Henry's not going to be top on any well, he could in AEW, but anyway, uh he's not gonna be no top champion now. He could maybe have a Santino Marella Intercontinental run or something like that in the WWE, but I'm pretty sure he's coming over here anyway, is what I've been hearing. uh but I didn't mind it. I think it was kind of a waste to me, though. I would have rather seen somebody else. As much as I didn't want to see the Nick Aldis, I think I would have rather seen Nick Aldis. But you know, hey, thank you, Jackson. I appreciate it. Means a lot, man.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
I don't need to know that, David, but I'm sorry you're
Blocked him.
having them issues.
I blocked him, man, so I can't even see his stuff anymore. So
Yeah, damn. But yeah, I mean, I gave it a C and I gave it 1.5 stars because that's actually what we had in the match. We had 1.5 stars in that match.
yeah,
So that's why I gave it a 1.5.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I just wish they wouldn't do those guys like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, 4 minutes squash. You know what I mean? And then they did the same thing in the Royal Rumble. But Triple H did say I heard that him and Joe Hendry talked, and he told Joe Hendry, he said, "Don't worry," he said, "you're going to have more moments like this." He said, "We're going to have you back." So I can see I can see this man going to the WWE soon.
Any update on Sasha? I didn't know anything about Sasha.
Yeah, we don't get into AEW too much over here.
So yeah, I mean, what'd you give the match?
I'd have to say, man, I hate doing this, man, but I'd have to say a D. You know,
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I don't blame you.
Yeah, I'm not a
I don't
fan of
blame you.
squash matches. You know what I mean? Unless it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I am when they're warranted.
Right.
All right, now we're gonna go. Which this was kind of a letdown to me. AJ and Logan. I thought this would be the best match on the card. It did not do that for me. It was still good. But at the end, with the whole carrying cross thing and stuff, and the stupid whatever guy that's with Logan Paul, which I wish he'd leave his entourage and Travis Scott and them the hell out of here. But other than that, it was a decent match. I gave it a B and three
Mike,
stars.
Mike and Ike, I wrestle for NXT. I've never been in the ring because I have an injury. Well, I hate for that, man. That sucks.
Man.
Uh, but yeah, I
Well, here's one good thing. At least they couldn't bury you, Mike. So
yeah,
I, I'm happy for you for that. Not happy you're hurt, but I'm glad they didn't ruin you. So,
yeah.
because the
Um,
booking over there is pretty terrible, boss.
let's see here. I'm gonna have to go with a uh, B minus on that match, and I give it a 2.5 star. Um, I will say this: he does do a elbow better than Hangman Page ever thought about, or the
Oh,
clothesline.
the clothesline,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, he's really good, man. His frog splash, his other stuff. There was a few little things missed in there, but man, Logan Paul, like I said, he's got star written all over him.
Oh yeah.
Automatic heel, you
What's
know.
3 for 4 in WrestleMania?
I think so. I think so. So, but decent overall, but they didn't need that whole carrying cross crap in there. But anyway, we got 2 matches left. Let's get this done. Women's tag. This is where we got the Becky Lynch appearance, which I'm not a Becky fan, so I did give it a B plus though, because I know a lot of people like Becky. I don't understand why she really can't, wrestle worth the lick. And if you don't believe me, watch the matches, and I mean watch them. Don't just Becky because we sing her song because she's got woe in there. Uh, but
Um, I'm gonna tell you.
I mean, the other Laya, Valkyrie, whatever chick, I guess she can wrestle, but I don't really see much in her. Raquel needs some work. Liv has gotten over with the fans, but Liv has gotten better. I think she could still use some work, but she's gotten one of the fans over, and to me, she can work better than Becky. But I gave it a B plus and 2 stars, and that's about all I got for that.
uh Ric Flair's his favorite, and mine is Sting. But I will say, I can't say a lot about Becky because she came in that time in wrestling when I wasn't really watching wrestling a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really say. I need to go back and watch some of her matches actually.
It ain't that important.
I few. Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen a few, like when she got her nose busted open, and a couple Ronda Rousey ones. Um, but for them to come up with what they came up with, I don't. They used it as an excuse to bring her back. I think. You
Yeah, I
know,
think so too.
they didn't have no reason to bring her back, and why not for that right there? That was a good reason. But like I said, there were so many others that could have used that spot, like Alexa Bliss. What are they doing with her? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
I think Alexa Bliss would have got a bigger pop.
I think you're kind of right there. Um,
I think Mandy Rose would have got a hell of a pop if they could have got her back.
yeah, yeah.
I want to say Paige could have got a pop, but I don't know. She's been ruined by AEW, so I don't know if she would have really got that much of a pop. But
Yeah, and I hate it for people that go over there. They think they're like, oh, it's promotion, and I understand why. They gotta provide for their families. You know, when you get released by this big company, and the only place you got left is these other places, and if another company's going to have you that's got money and got a little bit of push behind them, then yeah, I would go there too. But when they all get there and they see how the locker rooms are and they see how everybody is, they're all like, man, oh man, what I get myself into, you
yeah,
know? So, but yeah, I'm going to say, I'm going to give that match 2.5 stars, and I would probably say C plus, you know?
okay. That sounds about right. Now we're gonna get on to the main event, but I don't know if we can really call it the main event because I was a little disappointed in it. I understand the way they wanted to work slow and try to build something, but and then the whole end, we didn't get no rock, just this stupid damn Travis Scott, which I'm so sick of seeing this guy.
Yeah.
But I gave it a B and 3 stars, but I think I was very generous with that just because of the star power. I think that's the only reason why I gave them that. Kind of like Dave Meltzer with the Young Bucks, just because who they are, I give them 7 stars. But that's about all I can say about that. I'm
Yeah.
glad Cena won. I mean, But there again, if you wouldn't have had him win, what was the point? You know?
Right. Yeah. What was the point? You know what I mean? What we didn't get no reason. Yeah, you sold your soul. Okay, for what? To who? For why? You know, it don't make sense.
No.
Um, if I'm gonna sell my soul to someone, then it better make sense. Yeah.
So you sold your soul to Travis Scott? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah. You
don't
know,
get it.
it did none of that made sense because he come out and who is he though too? You know what I mean? Like I that don't
I
that
mean,
it's
I'm all for them having stuff in there. I mean, they've been having celebrities in there since WrestleMania 1. That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
But come on, man. At least Mr. T, I could believe. I don't believe Travis Scott could beat up Alexa Bliss.
No. No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, did you see him in there mouthing with Cody? Boy, your little head that it could squash you like that. Man. Oh,
But
man,
a lot of
man.
people act like him.
We ain't even been here 2 hours. What are you talking about?
And you ain't been saying nothing. This is the first
Lord,
thing that came through here in 30 minutes. But for the other people who did ask, I hope the big dog does not return. That was really a letdown with Roman Reigns. That character didn't get over. I don't think Sasha would have got the greatest pop because she's been ruined in AEW. She still would have got a pop. And Karrion Cross did have potential, but he needs to lose the hair and a little bit better direction.
yeah.
But
For real. But far as that match goes, I'm giving them guys. You got a lot of star power there, no matter what. I'm giving it a B plus. I thought it was okay. I just, I'm not a big. I can understand why they did it. You know what I mean? I don't know if it was the whole get rid of Flair's thing too. You know what I mean? His. I wanted to see his daughter break that. You know what I'm saying? I felt like his daughter should have been the one to break his record of 16 wins. You know what I mean? Um,
I agree.
but anybody any better though, John Cena? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If it had been anybody else, I'd have been way, way crazy mad. But John Cena, he yeah.
Want
You
it.
uh
You know
you
what?
broke up there at last second there, whatever you said. But uh yeah, man. We told you 5 years for me. Are you not listening down there? Lord have mercy. But yeah, I agree there, boss man. We're gonna give that one B plus, and I'm gonna say 4 stars because anytime you get those guys together, you got star power, you got a good match.
I just couldn't give it that high. I think I give the whole card a B, maybe a B plus on night two. But
Trying to move us around a little bit. You broke up there a lot. I think we're gonna have bad internet. Yeah, we got bad internet. I think I lost you. You broke up real bad. Is he lagging for everybody else? Can anybody else? Because you're like spitting and sputtering over. Yes, they said you're lagging too. Yeah, it must be your yeah, I think
Oh well. Anyway, cut this off. I don't know what's going on with the internet, but
yeah, you're coming in now. Yeah. There you go.
but hello. But yeah, the whole deal with Rock not being there, I think for some reason I'm being told that Cody and Cena wanted to do this without the Rock. But you've already brought the Rock in, so now it's the whole thing with just Travis Scott. It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I give it a B minus over the whole night or all nights of WrestleMania together as a whole. Not the best WrestleMania, not the worst WrestleMania, but we'll move on from here.
Yep. So let's see what Raw has tonight, man, and then we'll go from there.
Dub, I run a little longer than I thought we were. We did have technical difficulties, but hopefully it comes out all right.
Yeah.
Man, we'll do this again.
We'll work
but
it
until
out. We'll get
then,
it all going, man. And I like to start doing some of this more often. So, you know what I'm saying? We'll try to get something going here with all this and see if we can get us a little talk show going on. All right, bud.